What is up,
Woohoo!
buddy? It's your boys Jit and Juice back at it again. And today we're talking about a correction or crashing, the state of the hobby. And I can see some conversation already happening in the chat. And some of you are down the right path, and some of you, I don't know if you are or not. But today we're going to discuss. We're going to have some fun. We're going to chit chat about it. And we'll go into some detail and give our thoughts and potentially what we're doing. Now, remember, we're not financial experts. We're not even experts in the cards that we open up. We're doing this out of fun. We're doing it for the hobby. And yeah, this is what we're doing. So we're sharing our thoughts. I'll start us off by just reading some of the chat and getting some ideas out there. Just some of the ideas that are being thrown out there right now by you all, and just seeing where we're at. So first comment I see, everything is going down. It has nothing to do with the hobby. And I think you're partially correct. I think people are spotlighting our particular hobby for what it is. And people are in there and they're talking about it. But ideally there's multiple hobbies across the platform, multiple collectible hobbies across the platform that are seeing some type of issues with going down. Let's see here. The NFL draft and the triple LeBron logo being pulled took some wind out of the sails.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I think it definitely could. There's a lot of hype in there. A lot of big time individuals talked about it, but I don't think that was 100% it. It's an impending recession in the economy and markets. People are scared to buy wax and singles. They're also fire selling their cards by the dip. Definitely think you should buy the dip if you believe in a product, but only if you believe in a product. If you do think that it's going to get worse, then don't buy, obviously. But I kind of am a believer in buying the dip and buying some things, some card lots up and so forth. My initial thoughts is this is the first time since the pandemic where individuals can travel. They have disposable income and they can do other things. And we're about to hit summertime. And there's so many people taking vacations. There's so many people out there travel the world that a lot of those individuals that were looking for the nostalgia push or just something to take their mind off of being locked up and unable to travel. I think now that they're able to get back in a groove, you're going to start seeing a lot of people potentially, I don't know about leave the hobby completely, but it's not going to be hyper focused as it has been. Drew, what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's just a culmination of everything. I mean, the situation with the economy, people afraid of the recession. Now that we're able to travel and stuff, people are going on vacation, putting money in other places. A lot of fear too. With the potential food shortages and potential things like that, all that doom and gloom stuff that people usually spit around, scares people into either, liquidating assets or even people who've maybe taken out loans to buy products thinking that, everything was going to go up, and maybe those, loans are start to be due and you got to pay. And so this might be a good time to pick up some stuff cheap if you can. I mean, if you got that kind of income that you can set aside. I don't think we're going to see the booms like we did over the past years where we're going to see like every week, every 2 weeks, the price is going to jump like 2, 5, 10x. But I think now it's going to be a long-term game of just holding on to assets and getting that 3% a year growth.
Oh, sorry, something popped up. But no, I definitely agree with you. There's multiple things going on. I don't know about 100% a recession by all means, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of people out there with plenty of money. There's companies with plenty of money. A lot of individuals out there that have the ability to do whatever they want. I just think it's more of timing. It's more of season. It's more of, hey, I'm going to go do something else besides waste my time here. Not necessarily saying it's a waste, but
they're just putting their money in other things.
right.
Yeah. Now that, like you said, when you can travel, would you rather travel or buy a box of wax? And it's like, well, I'd rather go on vacation,
Yeah.
So
100%. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these here. Let's see. It's called a recession. Yeah, maybe get in on that food and oil market. That's going to the moon. Sup, daddy? Sup, big sexies? Yo. I've seen it come on the comic book side. Side sales have definitely been down, unless it's really, really high end stuff. Yeah, let's talk about that. Do we think really high end wax and cards are still going to stay around, or do you think that's going to get somewhat affected?
Probably not as affected as other cards. I think the more higher end product and stuff will still retain a lot of its value, just because of the difficulty of acquiring it and then the rarity of things and things like that. But I think a lot of the other stuff will take a bit of a hit, because I think people are getting tired of paying these prices.
Facts.
Like pre-sale, what is that? So was it Prism Football?
Yeah,
like $1,700. So I mean, at some point, people are gonna get tired of paying these prices, and it's got to be a collective thing. Right. So I think with the way the economy's going, people traveling, money moving out, hopefully it resets a lot of the things like that.
So here we go. Dude Luck states 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP equal recession. We will be there at the end of June. Oof. If that happens, it happens. Is it necessarily a bad thing? Some might say no.
I don't think it'll be as bad as the recession in 2008. I don't think people will be losing a lot of jobs and things like that. Oof. I think it'll just be I think money and stuff will just be reallocated around, and I think jobs will still be maybe slow growing, but I don't think we'll be seeing a big loss in the job market.
This individual right here, let's pull this up real quick. They state stock market is in a bear market and inflation hobby comes last. Fair. I think they're saying the hobby, like from a priority standpoint, comes last, right?
Yeah.
Is that how I'm seeing that? I've been buying. Oh, here we go. I've been buying LeBron stuff. Got several rookies, the triple weight LeBron Anthony on the cheap, and a couple of bazooka rookies.
Nice.
Not bad. Gin and Juice, what's up? Big fan from the Philippines. What's up? How's it going over there on Facebook?
Need that chicken adobo.
There we go. A lot of stuff needed to go down. Still more interest and activity in the market when compared to pre-pandemic levels. Fair. And as we saw with the pandemic, when that was a mild recession, basically when we looked at it, that right there shows that the hobbies and the collectibles might actually rise. A lot of these items. Because if something happens, people do get a little bit more conservative, and then the people with money, disposable income, had the ability to, buy up certain items and so forth. Let's see here. The market will be player dependent. The years of good players coming out, the better the market will be. Baseball Series 2 is going to be fire. Next NFL season will pop off. Okay. Good thoughts there. Here we go. Just bought a collection of comics, 6,000 comics for $9,000 and broke even after 35 days and still have 90% of the collection and tons of low print indie titles to slab that will sell due to low pop. Will they sell though if they're low pop? Like if they're low pop, I don't understand comic books from a grading perspective too much, but if they're low pop, I mean, in their comics, you would think people would be getting those comics graded. Is there a market for massive graded comics? I know there is for the vintage stuff, but are we talking about new? Are we talking about, the modern stuff? Is there really something there? Woo. Try to catch up here on the chat. You guys are flying. Here we go. Shelters in the city full of people who have jobs and families can't afford a place to rent. Man, where do you live? That's rough.
Ooh, that is definitely rough.
Dude, luck. Jesus. Oh, here we go. Funny listeners to two nerds. Oh, funny listening to nerds who open thousands of dollars worth of cars, deny that there is a recession. LOL, I'm done here. All right, buddy. Have a good one. I mean, no one's denying anything. We're having an open conversation.
Yeah.
But
see ya.
Bye. Gotta love certain people.
Yeah.
The hobby consumer also is getting smarter. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Chasing the base rookie card to flip has gone away. That's 100% correct. Everybody's going after those parallels, those number cards, those higher end cards, working their way up to that. You rarely see the shuffling of the lower end product at the moment. A lot of people are actually stuck on that lower end product stuff.
Yep, and with PSA at the $50 level of grading, you can't grade those cheap cards anymore. So you got to be selective. So I think the market will clear up on that side of things.
Drew, I'll let you swing on this one.
James Wiseman. I don't know. For me, if I had to, I'd say it's a sell. I wouldn't hold.
Yeah, I mean, he's done nothing for 2 years. Don't know if he's going to be back 100%. You don't know what the type of player he's going to be when he's back. A lot of these guys have a ton of hype around them, a ton of talent, and then they get hurt. They don't play for a while, and you might not be the same player ever again. So who knows?
It comes down to the risk you're willing to take. Are you willing to gamble and hold and hope he becomes like this superstar athlete in 5-10 years and his card value just skyrockets to the roof? I mean, it's a gamble you got to take.
Oh, the message that Jen just blocked is actually hilarious, but it is terrible. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get some more comments up here. Here we go. Dude Luck is getting the conversation rolling over there. There we go. They're printing way too much stuff people can actually afford. You're pretty much hunting case hits for any value, and that's if you can actually find a product. Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of product left on the shelves, but it's product that you're right that is printed into oblivion, and it's product like baseball and stuff like that a lot of people don't really want to open. You're not really finding that mosaic product on the shelves at the moment from a retail perspective, where a lot of those case hits are at, because like you said, that's what people are going for. And I think the pull rate in those mosaic boxes are very high. So this comment kind of has some validity to it. MetaZoo is tanking. Is it? I didn't know if it was up or down. I know Flesh and Blood is about to just hit rock bottom.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think you just got to be cautious about all of these new TCGs because they're trying to jump on to that craze, and we're about to hit this place where the hobby may not be as forgiving and not as much money is flowing in. So just be cautious about the different things that you invest in. I'm kind of watching how like Flesh and Blood is doing, and just to kind of be cautious about buying any more boxes or anything like that.
Yeah, because after there was, so I don't know if you guys know the Flesh and Blood story, and this is very loosely as I don't have all the detail myself, but basically Channel Fireball had a bunch of boxes that they said they no longer had, and it comes to find out they dropped a bunch of these boxes for purchase, and it drove down the price dramatically of a particular set. And that really ruined a long-term investor's investment. And now it looks like the Flesh and Blood TCG is headed for a rock bottom position.
Yeah, it definitely shook a lot of the collectors and stuff the wrong way. then again, player base is very important, more so than collectors.
Rick's NBA 2K cards states stock market and cryptos are all red. Sports cards should be the same. Great time to buy. Yeah, you're seeing value on cards coming down. You're seeing value on wax coming down from the sport card perspective. All crypto. I mean, if you guys just do a little crypto, I'm not any crypto expert. I only use Coinbase and a couple other things, and I don't even have the right wallets or anything like that. So I'm not an expert there. But just taking a look at those charts and in those apps just shows how bad crypto is. And I mean, if you don't know anything about the stock market, I mean, that thing right there is not in a good position either. So all around, from a financial standpoint, from collectibles or investments, you're seeing a down market right now. Is Immaculate a good investment? You mean the sealed product or the individual cards? A little bit more detail there. Oh, here we go. Hey, some positivity. Hey, Lootbox, thanks for all the great content. Keep it coming. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Wax Pack Magic. I'm buying up Jalen Hurt PSA 10 rookie cards. I believe you'll have a breakout season. I got like 40 Jalen Hurts, like autos and graded PSA 10 cards. It's insane. So I'm right there with you, but I love Jalen Hurts. I love the Eagles. Go Birds. Brian is salty. Yes, I think Brian left, but yes, he was very salty for no reason. He did not eat his Wheaties today. Here we go. What's up, fellas? Juice, you got any Carson Wentz rookie cards? No, do not. And I hope he does well. I see you got a football team hat on. The Commanders, I guess they're called now. Good luck to that team. I wish you guys nothing but average play throughout the year because you're in the same division as the Eagles. But no, I hope Carson Wentz works out for you. But that guy, man, he's toxic to the team. I guess this is the comment that got Brian to leave. Brian is also facing the same issue we all are. Availability for the new GT3 inventory is weighing on all of us.
It is.
Oh,
it is.
Goodness.
Well, I mean, he had to put in that his comment about Octane 93 in his new Porsche. So, you got to make sacrifices.
Here's a comment, Jen. I'm going to let you. Do you agree with this comment or disagree?
Cryptocurrency king. Yes, he is the king.
Oh, look at that. Some love from Jin himself.
Although right now I would say maybe not because everything's in the red, but he's in the same boat. I mean, he's just as red as we all are. So, and maybe a lot more than us. So, but Bottle,
his
stay
boat
the course. Stay the course.
His boat is bad, but he's staying the course. Thoughts on Jonathan Taylor market? Running backs, man. Running backs are always difficult to invest in. The prize possession and investments in the football market is always going to be quarterbacks. I think those other skill position players like wide receiver, running back are not going to be long-term investment. I think he's good right now. I think if you are looking to do anything in that market, it's more of, hey, how much can I buy for the low and how much can I flip? I think he's going to be a good running back for the next couple of years, barring injury. So, yeah, that's what I would only focus on short term.
I like Jalen Rips. His question.
Let me get Jalen Rips. There we go.
Yeah. Do you think breakers are net good or net bad for the hobby? They give people access to cards they can't afford, but if they didn't exist, maybe hobby boxes would be more affordable.
Ooh. I'll if you want, I can dive in first. I got a strong opinion.
Sure. Yeah, you give yours and I'll give you mine.
So I truly believe this is a coin flip because breakers come down to the actual individual doing the breaking. In the card shop, right? I think there's a lot of good mom and pop shops out there, a lot of good card shops that have to break to actually earn money because of the way the hobby is set up right now. However, there are plenty of breakers out there that are just ridiculous with their pricing. And the fact that a lot of those breakers are still able to sell the same exact box you can get from a good quality breaker from a good card shop at maybe $1,000 to $500, whatever the box is, depending on the box, cheaper then what you're breaking there is just absolutely crazy. There's a lot of streamers on Whatnot. I think Whatnot itself is a fantastic platform. The technology is good, but the people, the breakers on like a Whatnot are absolutely a lot of them are arrogant. There's a lot of terribleness from those type of breakers, and it gives a bad example of the hobby in my perspective.
So I mean, I think we're talking about the same coin, just different sides. Yes, breakers are good if you find the reputable ones, the ones that charge a fair market price. But what becomes the bad part of it is that in the distribution side of things, they're gonna slowly start to squeeze these small mom and pop shops into buying so much product per month, per week, in order to keep getting any of the products. And if you can't break, then all of that product goes to these breakers that they know that they can upcharge people and things like that. So I mean, yes, it's helpful to get, because when I started in the hobby of cards, I mean, I started with breaks because I didn't know what a prism product was, a flawless product, basketball, baseball, football, I didn't know. So breaking was a good way for me to get into and understand the products before I started to rip into it. But it's the good and the bad. It's like the necessary evil. You need to have breakers for the products to be out there and be ripped and you can see, but it also creates that animal that the distributors feed, and all of the shops don't get the products that they want to get to sell to their customers. So
yeah,
it's one of those necessary evils, I guess.
There you go. Hopefully that helps you out there a little bit, Jalen Rips. All right, let's see where we're at. When you say crash, are you talking Pokemon? I'm talking about all collectibles.
Yeah,
Pokemon's experiencing the same exact thing. All collectibles, watches are down a little bit. Pokemon's down. Sports cards are down. Stock market, crypto, you name it. NFTs, they're all down.
Ooh, NFTs now. Ooh.
What are some good retail releases calendar? Any of the note? I would just check Beckett.
I'm not too sure on the retail side of release schedules.
Don't know too much about that. Let's see here.
Gaming is crucial's comment. Yeah, I agree. It had to be the Backyard Breakers that Logo Man was pulled.
Here's the thing with Backyard Breaks. I think they did just that one wrong thing with the Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. And I think that kind of stained them. However, before and after, those guys give back so much to the community. And I know a lot of people like, where are you going with this? But really, if you look how much they actually give away in product, they give away so much product that actually they do hand off. I think the one time with the Trevor Lawrence thing, I think it was dumb. I think they know it was dumb. I think they agree that the way they handled it was not the best. And by no means have I ever bought in a break with them. And, I am a believer that they missed out on a huge opportunity to really market that well. But I think they've done a really good job about improving the quality of their streams. And I think they've kind of, fixed it a little bit by giving out more. Obviously, the jokes are always going to be there. Hey, like, is the triple Logo Man going to make it there and whatnot? I don't think they would be that naive to allow anything like that to ever happen again. Oh, look at this. Breaking needs to stop, in my opinion. They're ruining the hobby and are fooling themselves. See, I don't agree.
I don't agree. I think we're judging like the 2% of the bad breakers, and we're trying to lump the rest of the 98% of the good breakers in with them. There's a lot of, we may not agree with the prices that get done like on Whatnot, but there are a lot of good breakers on the Whatnot platform, and we know personally that even sales.
Even outside of Whatnot. I mean, Whatnot was just an example. There's breakers on YouTube, Instagram, But to Andrew's point, all those breakers, I think there is a lot more of good breakers and quality breakers and fair breakers than there are of the negative breakers. It's just unfortunately the negative breakers are the ones that always seem to have the most and the most epic stuff, but they're also charging. Like, you should not be paying $6-7 grand for National Treasures football when I can walk into my hobby shop right now and probably get it close to 3,500, which is still a lot, but that's 50% what a breaker is charging. Yeah. Ooh. Do you think people can still make a decent money flipping cards in this market? Yes. And the only reason why I say that is it all depends on when you get the product and how much you get the product for. And I think if you always work yourself to get a little piece of that, pie that's left in that card, then by all means you're good. So what I mean by that is, like, if you're able to negotiate when you originally get the card, down 30%, you still have that 30% gap to actually make something. So I flip cards all the time. Our eBay is pretty fire. A lot of cards that I put up there. Now, granted, I don't really calculate it too much. I just take it in. But there's a lot of times I go to card shows and trade nights where I make a deal, and I take that and I flip it, and I end up making more money than what I got for it, right? So I think there is still possibility in this market. It's just going to change. You just got to adapt.
Yeah, I think it will require a little bit more research when you're buying, like researching the players and the type of cards, whether it's a numbered or a not numbered card and things like that. But there's always opportunities for you to make money. It's just that now it's not going to be as easy, but you never know. You might be able to pick up some deals, but it may not be as a quick flip as it used to be.
Yeah. And to your point, I mean, research is going to be key. If you're not researching, using apps out there, using websites, whatever that may be, eBay, last sold, whatever, you got to do your research. And even if you look up those eBay last sold, you got to make sure they're legitimate sales, because from the auction side, if you look at a lot of those bids, a lot of times there's zero review people bidding cards up for triple the amount of where they were actually going to close that. And it's just not a good look. So research is key on a lot of those items. Oh, here we go from Facebook.
Ooh.
Enjoy watching you guys doing the revealing of the cards. Do you think of who do you think of this year's NFL rookie class will be the most expensive before and after their first year? So the upcoming NFL class that just, the draft that just happened, that's going to be tough because, like I mentioned earlier, I think quarterbacks are where the money's at, and there was only one quarterback taking in the first round, and that was to the Steelers, and it was the Kenny Puckett guy, I think his name was. It's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be one of those years that there's not going to be a lot of activity, and I think that's why a lot of people are buying wax of the previous years. Joe Burrow's year, Justin Herbert's year, and then, Mac Jones' year and so forth. I think people are buying up that wax only because they think it's going to go up because the draft class is going to stink so much. So to be honest with you, I don't know if I can give you a person, my man. I really don't. Drew?
But hey, I mean, the product's going to be out by the time
Next season, right?
Yeah, when the next season starts. So hey, by then we'll know, right, who to chase after.
That's just fair. Thoughts on the LeBron logo man being pulled? I think we kind of covered that a little bit. I think, I think it's cool.
The chase is done. Great. It's over. Hopefully prices come back down. I think someone said the Leighton pulled the 101 logo man LaMelo. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's gone. So, I mean,
price is going to come down. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not a big dip, but I mean, it should pull back.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got offered half a box, or so one briefcase. Originally, before the logo man was pulled, it was like 15 grand for that. I was like, holy crap. Now, after it was pulled, I checked the other day and they wanted me to buy it for 12 grand, which is still crazy. But I mean, it did drop $3,000 after that. So after the LaMelo being pulled, was that today? Or was that recent, Drew?
I'm not sure. Chat's been saying that they pulled it. I don't know if it was today.
Chat, was it today?
It's got to be recent. We would have heard about it.
Honestly, I don't like breaks. I get the point, but it's unneeded for the hobby. I mean, I could see that you don't like breaks, but I'm telling you, breaks are needed for a lot of things. Unfortunately, a lot of card shops, that's the only way they keep the lights on is by breaking. I mean, breaking's become so intertwined with the hobby. To stop it completely could be detrimental to a lot of individuals.
And to be honest with you, it was nice for me when I first got into the hobby to be able to, buy teams or do inexpensive breaks to get my feet kind of wet in the whole like hobby of sports cards. And then it kind of snowballed into this monster that was like the same Pokemon monster, and spending all this money. But it helped me get my toes in, and it helps a lot of people get their toes into products and a hobby if they're not sure where to start.
Fair indeed. Let's see here. Wow, the chat is just updating like crazy. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being interactive. I'm glad we could do this and share this with you guys.
So Do Fizzy Drew wants to know, why is Luca Prism Rookies down so bad?
Oh, right here. Why? You would think he's playing probably some of the best basketball he's ever played in this year's playoffs. So you would think they would be a lot higher than what there are, but I think it's just timing. I think a lot of people are burnt out on Luka Doncic from the
could be a market correction also.
Yeah, and a lot of these items we may not necessarily look at it as a recession in the hobby, but maybe more of a correction for a lot of these things, right?
Yeah, it's like Pokemon, right? When Logan Paul did a box break, all prices went crazy, and then he got kind of quiet, and then everything kind of started to settle back down, get back to more reasonable pricing, and then another celebrity comes in, and things start to go crazy. It's just like that. You have that big burst of pump, but if it's not natural growth, it's going to eventually correct itself.
So we kind of talked about the draft class a little bit. Is it bad for the hobby? I don't think so, because it allows prices to hopefully correct. You're going to see a big thing, right? If prices don't correct with this bad, this bad class from a investment standpoint, because you're not going to pay big bucks for a defensive end. You're not going to pay big bucks for a running back like that. I mean, if you look at it, the best running back in a draft class, say the Jonathan Taylors, his cards are going to be 1/3 of probably 1/5 of a Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. And that might be giving him a little bit too much credit. So is it bad for the hobby? I don't think so. I think hopefully it brings the prices down of those boxes for that year.
I mean, you can't have a bomb class every year. There's going to be where you got to reset, and then maybe now is our reset year.
We got a question. Our box is going down. Yeah, we're already seeing it. I mean, you can get Revolution basketball. It's a prime example. It's getting close to back down to like 275.
We even opened what was that?
Court Kings,
and that was like 275.
Yeah,
so it's a lot of the product is taking a more leveled approach, which is good. I mean, it's a little bit less expensive for you guys to get into the hobby, open some product.
Here we go. This is kind of what we're talking about. You want a decent quarterback who has a shot at raising prices from the recent draft class? Check out Jalen Hurts and his card. There you go. That's a good one. Bingo on the market correction. Let's see here. Ooh. Breaks might have been a good entry level to get in, but it's also like playing the lottery. I mean, the hobby is like playing the lottery. Opening up a box of National Treasures is playing the lottery.
Yeah, but a $200 loss is a lot easier to swallow than like a $1,200 loss.
Hey man, when you're opening big, you get a bigger itch, my friend.
Yeah, so you can buy a $200 team and maybe get lucky and maybe get a card or not. It's better than spending $1,200 and getting hot garbage.
Prime example of here. I'll make this bigger. Prime example of gambling and somewhat paying off is when you pull something like this. And it still didn't cover the cost of the box if you sell it raw. It's just crazy. And that's who you're going after. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Here we go. Boom. At lower prices, I could justify spending more money on cards now. There you go. Personally, market is down because of all the investors giving grief to new investors on their purchases.
Yeah. A lot of people bought high.
Oof.
But now it comes down to how many of those people can hold long term, like 5-10 years, and how many of those need to sell those quickly. And so, if you're savvy, you can keep your eyes out. Maybe you can pick up some steals from some desperate sellers.
And there's going to be a lot of desperate sellers out there, folks. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
There always is. PSA is at $50 a card. Need to submit a card at least 500 value to be worth it. I mean, yeah, close to it. But you got to think of it too. Like, if I'm an individual and I have a popular player, and if I get this card graded and it comes back at 10, and I can sell that card for $300, and if it drops to $250 with the correction, am I still paying that $50 to get it graded to make $200? The answer is probably yes. I mean, think about it. You're basically 4xing your return, 5xing your return.
Ooh.
Uh-oh, you said ooh.
Yeah, one from Facebook has a very interesting question.
Yes. Here we go. What's a good series of box NFL to get back into the hobby? I haven't collected sports cards since the mid-90s.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough one.
It's a really tough one because, like, you really want to go after one of the better products or the flagship products for them, for NFL, and that's like the Prisons of the world, maybe even the Select, and they're just so expensive right now.
Yeah, if you can afford the prices, and maybe you don't get it right when the product drops. Maybe you wait, like 2 weeks, 4 weeks, after the product launches, and then see how the prices go. Because I think for a lot of the products we've seen recently, like initial prices are high, and then after they come down a little bit. So if you can, I mean, one of those big name boxes, but if you want to take the big gamble, I mean, all of the retail products, I mean, you can get bangers. I mean, they pull like, yeah, I think someone pulled like a 101 or a gold vinyl or something.
Wander, the baseball card. Yeah,
exactly, from a blaster. So I mean,
I think you're only going to experience that from Topps, though. If you do, Panini won't do that.
No, but I mean, there might be one in the millions of boxes that they print retail.
You could be the one that opens up a LeBron James auto in a Space Jam product.
Yeah, or you may be that one lucky guy who gets that Tom Brady auto that's in one of those like blasters that they put one in somewhere. Who knows?
Do either of you collect anything besides cards? Actually, I do. I know Drew does. I collect like Joker memorabilia / Funko / comics / artwork behind me. I also collect N64 games. Yeah, those are probably my bigger collections. I'm starting to get back into Jordan collection. I like collecting Jordan shoes. I had a big collection there for a while. What about you, Drew?
Is there anything that I really collect hardcore aside from sports cards and Pokemon cards? I'm gonna say not really. I don't think I
mean, you got Funko Pops, and I don't know how much you actually.
A few, not that many. And none of the big ones. The only hard part about Funkos is like I don't know enough about it, so that I don't want to end up buying fakes and things like that. So, I always talk to somebody knowledgeable before I buy and get some insight. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't really collect anything else. All my money goes to sports cards, Pokemon. Crypto.
I still love Pokemon. Still love Pokemon. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. This one grinds my gears. Worst part of all the high-end products is all the no-name autos in it. Facts.
But Brandon, think about it. If they just only had all of the good player names, imagine how much more expensive that product would be. Like if you took out all of the retired players, the crazy vets and stuff, I mean, it'd be an expensive box.
Here's a good question, or a good statement, I guess. A lot of the bigger voices, content creators in the hobby are out of touch with the average card investor / collector. I would say that it's partially true. I think the perspective that they give makes you believe that, but I think they actually get it, and I think they understand. A lot of times too, they're not going to address it because of content, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us, we need to open up product. We're doing this YouTube as not only as a hobby and something that you want to do, but no one's going to continue to do YouTube like this if they didn't want to make it something like a full-time thing, right?
Like honestly, you're not going to sit there and watch us for like 20 minutes opening up like retail blasters. Like that's not going to excite you. Like you're going to be interested in us taking a huge L when we buy like a $2,000 Prism box and we get, some, no name auto.
Keep bringing up my worst fears, please.
Yeah. And imagine how exciting, it's more humorous and more exciting to see our reactions. And then you guys get to see, these guys, dropped 2K and lost, like $1,800 on the box. But no one's going to, that's the entertainment factor. A lot of the content creators we know who have shops and stuff like that, they do a lot of the things, and their stores are run for the average collectors, but it just doesn't make for good content. I mean, like we like to see drama.
And that's a big thing if you're trying to do this, right? You got to create some type of drama, especially if you're going to do it full time. You can't just be like an average creator. It's just not going to work out. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't bust my tail if it wasn't for you all and the love that you guys pour out and the views that you give us. Because if you guys weren't here supporting the content, I would not try as hard as I'm trying.
Especially the videos where we don't hit bangers.
Yeah.
That helps you guys watching and subbing and commenting. I mean, it helps the algorithm. We get a little bit of money to help lessen the blow of that. But it's not by much.
Yeah. Trust me, because I get pissed off when I open up shit product. We have to take
opening up product that he knows his shit.
Because imagine if I'm one of those people.
This is the gambler's addiction, man. This is the gambler's mentality.
I pull a tribute gold dunk of LeBron James.
There you go. What if I pulled the 101 LeBron James gold dunk vinyl auto? It's like, what if? They're all what ifs. Gambler's mentality. Yeah, but it makes more fun for everybody, right? How much pain can Juice take on Prism or Donruss?
Thanks for finishing that statement.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Here we go. Let's get caught up. We are all over the place here. Ooh, here we go. I like this. NFL Spectre was fire. A great checklist, beautiful autos, all numbered. I love Spectre product. I think Spectre is super underrated.
Ooh, can you go up to that comment a little bit above? What is it? Rohan?
Yep, right here. Bang.
The hobby's been ruined for kids who want cards that are actually worth something. I don't think so.
I strongly disagree. And I love comments like this because this is going to show you, and Rowan, this is nothing to go against you or anything, but I truly don't think you've actually experienced some of these kids that come to these card shows that have insane collections. There are plenty of kids out there that hustle and grind, and I've seen kids walk around with rookie Patrick Mahomes cards that are worth like 30, 40, 100 grand. This hobby is not ruined. I trust me. This hobby is not ruined for kids. They are living the time of their lives.
I think it's also I think a lot of kids are learning a lot from going to card shops, going to card shows, because what you don't see is that the card shops actually take care of their kids that come in, because kids obviously have to enjoy the hobby, and they're the next generation to grow up with the card. So you might only be seeing like the high prices for like the mosaics or the high end products, but a lot of the shops do buy a lot of products to hopefully get so that the kids can buy something that's more of a reasonable price. Like, they can buy retail blasters for a little bit of a markup, not so much having to go on eBay and pay like the scalpers double and triple the price that they should be paying. Like a $20 blaster for $40 is a lot better than or 35 is better than trying to, buy it from somebody who's trying to sell it for $80 or $60 or $100. So
yeah, and I just don't see it. I see that those type of comments all the time, and I never see it. Never see it. I think it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So hold on. What is going on here? I think my dog was in here for a second. All right, let's see what this is. What are your thoughts on CGG's new labels and grading scale? Will they become a player or take away market share from PSA eventually? First time on your channel, boys, love it. Yo, Big Lance, thank you. I don't think, in my personal opinion, from what I would do, I personally would never go outside of Beckett or PSA when it comes to grading cards. I will have others just to hold and move, but if I'm truly investing in something like a big piece, I mean, PSA has the name recognition. That's all you need. And then Beckett, their grading scale is solid, in my opinion. It's just a lot of people, they're just maybe not too much caught up on it. At least when you look at like Beckett 9.5s compared to like 10s, the market's not as high in those as they should be. But like a Beckett 10 or a Black Label, I mean, you're talking about prime real estate there. So to answer your question about this grading scale, I don't know if they'll ever be there. I saw their labels. It's definitely an improvement, but I don't think they'll be there.
Yeah, PSA will always be number 1. Beckett is always number 2, and everybody else is fighting for position 3. Whether it's SGC, CGC, HGA, all of them are still third place. They don't have the years of experience as Beckett and PSA do. They don't have that the reliability, the history behind it. So that's why every other slab commands of a lot less price. But I mean, we'll know soon enough because a lot of companies will eventually close up, and then there'll be only a few left. So, but PSA and Beckett will always be 1 and 2. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. As a kid who's still in high school, as long as you grind, you can be just as good as any adult. You just got to know the right places to meet the right people. Card shows have helped me grow. There you go.
There you go. Exactly.
See, this person says, yeah, rich kids. I don't.
We've met kids who have made smart purchases that ended up paying out big, and they didn't even like use their parents' money and spend thousands of dollars to buy these cards. There were a lot of people we've met that who like their kids were just interested in the sport, got interested in sports cards, picked up some cards they thought might be good, and it panned out for them. And they might have spent a couple bucks, $10, $20 here, and ended up with $1,000 card.
Sean, I get it, man. It's hard to believe, and I'm always a fan of sarcasm. But at the end of the day, buddy, trust me, it's not. It is what it looks like. It is. These dudes, these kids are hustling. Trust me on that.
And a lot of them got lucky. They opened an inexpensive product and pulled an amazing card. That's why obviously your chances are low when you talk about retail product, but I mean, they're there. The potential's there.
I mean, I personally, when I was a younger kid, 13, 14 years old, I was always hustling for everything that I had. I worked under the table at other places, collected money, did yard work, things like that to go out and buy what I wanted, turn around and flip it. Used to sell jerseys, things like that after I was able to acquire them and so forth. So hustling, I mean, you could be any age, as long as you can talk the talk, you can walk the walk. I mean, it's not as difficult as you're making it seem. I mean, like, kids are doing it now. The hustle and the work ethic is going to be difficult because you can't teach that, but there are kids out there doing that. Let's see here. Oh, a hobby is going down because too many people buying Greg Oden autos and trying to flip them. Oh, that's funny. Here we go. Do you think vintage Pokemon is inflation? You mean inflated? No. I think
it's corrected. A lot of it has corrected.
I personally think it corrected too much that they're still undervalued. What do you think about having a blanket grading scales for all grading companies? If so, will it change up the company's view from the market? I don't think that can really ever happen. And here's the thing: you can't take away like that. That basically would mean, all right, PSA, you've done all this work before the past. You have this big name and so forth, but I'm going to remove you from I'm going to remove that information from it, and we're going to give everybody the same grading scale and so forth. I think that's what really we should be looking at is like the actual what has this company done, and to compare like these small mom and pops that are starting up or these smaller companies in general that are using robots to grade cards. At the end of the day, they're never going to have the name that PSA had. PSA was the first out of the gate, and sometimes if you're first, you're winning.
Definitely, I wouldn't say that it would be fair to use a blanket grading scale, but I think maybe if companies had a better way of training some of their employees in terms of the grading so that there's more consistency within the company, I think that would be a bigger thing to change than more so like a blanket grading scale, because like every person is going to look and grade and determine things a lot differently, but as long as we can train them to be consistent and look for things consistently, I think that's a bigger boost that'll be for the companies rather than just doing a blanket grading scale.
There you go. Oh, here we go. One of my friend's kids flips shoes, and he's made enough money to go to college. He started with his allowance money. The kids are smart. He is 15. Dude, there's kids have access to more than we
did. Yeah. Smartphones and all of these apps to sell. And
come on, man.
Yeah.
It's logical that there's plenty of kids out there that are able to make money. Hell, there's adults out there that could be doing just as what the kids are doing, but they're too damn lazy. Then that's going to be a whole different thing. I could go off on a tangent there.
Yeah, people don't want to learn about technology and how to use it.
I hate laziness. God, I hate laziness. All right, here we go. Anyway. Ooh. Let's see.
Oh, interesting. I didn't see this before. Chris Erickson from Facebook says, have you guys chimed in on the new eBay PSA situation with graded cards above $2,000? Opinions? Does it affect the hobby?
Are you talking about the PSA authentication thing? Like eBay authentication for graded cards over a certain price? I think that's what he's talking about.
I mean, I really do like this eBay authentication. Now, I'd have to kind of know a little bit more about how, like, the process of. I'd like to know, like, are they talking to the right experts to authenticate things, just to make sure that there's no funny business? Because I did buy a card that did go through eBay authentication and came to me. So, but it just makes me want to know if he said yes. So it makes me want to know and make sure like who are these people that are authenticating it? Are they, vetted to, be experts in that field who can, authenticate things? So.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why they started it, I assume they were getting too many fakes and a lot of people were complaining. So instead they decided to go this route. And yeah, it's interesting. I haven't experienced it enough, and I think Jin hit the nail on the head. So we'll leave it at that. Let's see. There we go. Do you hate laziness? Yes. Where's Dude Luck been? I miss his humor and bad sports takes. Earlier. He was just here earlier. Oh, this is a good one. Hold on, before you get to yours.
Okay.
Do you think PSA 9 is undervalued when compared to PSA 10s in general? Sometimes a PSA 10 is more than 4 or 5x than a PSA 9 prices. I think it really depends on the card, right? There's plenty of PSA 10s out there that are worth the price that you pay them when they're 4 or 5x. And then there's that same card in a PSA 9 is, say, 4 or 5,000 copies, and PSA 10 is maybe 1,000. I think when you get to scenarios like that, playing on a premium on a 10 is great. I think where you're going to see it is when the card is low pop. You know, it's hard to get a 10. And I think your PSA 9s, like for instance, with Marvel cards, getting a PSA 9 in precious metal gem cards is really good when the standard is probably like an 8. Getting 10s are just out of this world. They're going to probably be 10x, 12x the price of a PSA 9. For those particular cards. But if you have the ability to get a 9 and hold on to the 9, I think there's value in that. So some PSA 9s are definitely undervalued if they're in that type of scenario.
Yeah, I feel like when the 10 price is way too high, like let's say a first edition base set Charizard, PSA 10 runs you $250,000. Not many people can just drop $250,000, but just a 9 could be a tenth of the price, but still maybe something that's more affordable. So again, like you said, it really depends on the type of card it is and the pricing, and then kind of see, because eventually people will be priced out of 10s, and then the next logical step is to get 9s. And so eventually those 9 prices will have to rise a little bit to close the gap between 9s and 10s. But there will always be that premium for 10s.
Boom. There you go. Now, you were about to say something. What are you thinking?
Oh, where was that comment? Oh, Big Biz from from YouTube. He said I don't understand box prices. A box of F1 Chrome runs $1,300. I bought 3 Verstappens to $199, 3 Verstappens to $399, a Leclerc to $199, and 2 Leclercs for 3 out of $399 for $250 total, and that would be a hot box. Yes, I agree, but it all depends. I mean, it's like there's a lot of chase cards in that $1,300 box that people want, and so because you don't know what's in it, that's the gamble, and that's why you pay that price to take that gamble. I mean, it's always cheaper to buy the cards that you want, but but it's not fun. People want that gamble. Like, yeah, you could take that $1,300 and buy all of the Formula One cards you want, but it's not as great as pulling it yourself, which is great because something's coming out tomorrow.
So here we go. Besides the player name, how do you determine what cards to get graded? Besides the centering corners or defect in the card, like a scratch, do you look closely at the card for anything else that could be wrong before sending it in? Yes. Besides the name, if I'm looking at a card, like you mentioned, you got to look at the corners, got to look at the centering, and you got to really take a closer look. And for example, I had this really cool Steph Curry card that I was going to get graded. And when I took a closer look at it, I found an imperfection on it, more of a bubble that's a part of it, and that I don't think it's going to actually get a 10. I looked at it closer underneath a light, and I had a Jen look at it as well. And it was a card that I had a great shot at a PSA 10 in my mind, but I took it completely out of my submission because I saw that blemish. I didn't really want to take a chance on it. So I think everybody should be looking closely at their cards before they send it in my opinion.
Those are definitely the most important key factors. And then another one I'd look is just look at graded prices and see if it's worth grading it at that price level. Like, obviously, if a PSA 10 is $100, I'm not going to submit it at $150 level. So, I always obviously the look of the card, the condition of the card is the very most important, but the second comes down to me determining what level I want to grade that card at. And so that means looking at sold prices, raw prices, if there's any graded prices, and kind of extrapolating in my head if that's going to be worth the $50 grade, the $100 grade, the $150 grade. So I would look at pricing of the cards.
Well, everybody, I appreciate you guys coming through. We're about to wrap it up. Been a great conversation. I think to close it out, I think we're all on the same page. I think that we know that there is something happening in the hobby. We know that it's not fake news or anything like that. We could definitely see that the hobby is going in a direction where prices are getting cheaper, especially for wax. Cards are coming down in value. Yes, it appeared that there is a recession on the rise that we got to pay attention to, but also at the same time too, for those with disposable income, it might be a good time to start buying. You especially want to buy the dip. Do I think we're at the complete bottom yet? I don't know. It doesn't feel like it, but it doesn't feel like it's going to get much worse, in my opinion. So it'd be interesting to see going forward. Jen's over here smiling a little bit. He might have read something funny.
Yeah, Big Biz just comment. I have more fun. I have more fun getting the cards I want.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone has their own. And then quick thing from Speedy of the North. He said, do y'all think it's worth buying a graded 9, breaking it, resending it, and hope it gets a 10? That's a possibility, but I'm not sure with PSA now how things are going to go, because let's say I know for a fact that they might keep records of numbered cards. So if you constantly resubmit the same numbered card and it's already in the system, because they have pictures of the front and backs of cards now, I don't know if it'll get flagged and you can't, and they'll only keep it at the grade that it was regraded at. But I think ungraded cards might still pass, but I don't know if they are working on technology and things like that to help catch the resubmissions, because I know that it definitely inflates the PSA 9 numbers, which is sometimes why you can't do the pop reports careful. I can't really go off the pop reports all of the time, because I've seen a lot of people post on Instagram pictures of their PSA labels that they have a shit ton of that are in the trash because they've cracked and recracked and regraded. So it's a risk you have to take if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it, especially if it's a numbered card. High risk.
Well, there you go. Well, I'll go ahead and end it there, because I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to continue to get a ton of comments. Juan, thank you so much. Thanks for the great videos. I generally enjoy the excitement you two show when you open up those boxes. Well, buddy, we got a bunch more coming. I will say this. Be on the lookout in the next, probably in about 2 weeks from now, we're going to have our 75,000 subscriber giveaway. I will tell you guys this. It's going to be some of the cards that we pull from our video of the 75 packs that we're opening up for the 75,000 subs. So it'll be fun. It's going to be interesting. Make sure you guys are there. I don't know if it's going to be live yet. I think we might record it. That way we can make the comments interactive and you guys can get those giveaways rolling.
Yep. And we will be at National, so we'll see you guys there.
Yep. We'll have a booth. We'll let you know when we get the number and everything.
Yep.
But until next time, we'll talk to you soon.
Deuces.
Dabs.